what's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's had a good weekend so far. Want to kind of give some reaction a little bit on the college football. Basically what happened yesterday in college football. We saw, obviously, there were a couple huge top 10 matchups that went down. A couple big games with a lot of playoff implications. And things are starting to kind of shake out now in the world of college football, as in terms of the playoff and how everything's going to be playing out. Probably the biggest result, obviously, yesterday was Georgia going down to. I mean, basically not even going down. They didn't even really show up, it seemed like. But getting thumped by Auburn like they did was pretty stunning. I guess it wasn't probably the that they lost, but it's a simple fact that how bad they lost. Jordan-Hare Stadium is a tough place to play. A lot of teams go to Auburn and come out shorthanded, unfortunately, for that team. But Auburn was ready to play. They definitely took advantage of Georgia, and they really took it to them and really dominated them in a way that shocked a lot of people. And just in terms of how it was, it was pretty impressive performance. Another top 10 performance that was stunning as well was Oklahoma handling business like they did against TCU. Baker Mayfield continues to show why I think he's going to win the Heisman. I think he is right now the best player in the country, as the leader of the top offense in the nation. Obviously, the quarterback is the one who gets most of the hype, but he's definitely lived up to that hype, just the way he has played, and he's taken advantage of that and really done amazing things so far this season. Oklahoma is going to be a team that I think is going to, if they can obviously get past the Big 12 championship game, I think they are going to make a lot of noise in the playoff. They have a lot of potential. Again, with Baker Mayfield, who is playing as well as he is, they are a team to definitely look out for. I think that they are going to, like I said, I think they're going to do big things. You got some other big games that that happened. Ohio State coming off of that horrific game they had in Iowa, where they just got throttled. They come back and they absolutely destroy Sparty. Michigan State never had a chance in this game, even with a couple of the turnovers, a couple of the INTs JT Barrett tossed. Still didn't matter. 48-3 victory was pretty impressive from Urban Meyer and his Buckeyes. Again, sending a message, and there's a good chance that Ohio State, depending on what happens, could sneak into the playoff even with the two losses. Right now, you've got a couple. Obviously, you got a couple teams on the outside that are looking in. Obviously, with only the 4 spots available, there's a couple big weeks that are going to be playing out here, to where you're going to see some teams really staking claim to a playoff spot, and some teams that aren't. A lot of people, and I myself included, I thought that Notre Dame was going to be one of those teams that was going to be staking their claim for a playoff spot. They went down to Miami, and the Hurricanes, they are another team that destroyed their opponent. That was the U was back yesterday, I can tell you that. They put out just a great performance at home. National TV, the overall atmosphere of that was just fantastic. And Notre Dame, a team now that has 2 losses, one to Georgia, who was the number 1 team, yesterday, and then obviously, losing to Miami. Notre Dame could still find their way in. It's going to be a little bit tougher, I think, on their end. But overall, the Hurricanes, they're already playing for the ACC championship coming up in first week of December. Hurricanes are a team that I think they're nasty. They're a really fun team that could also make some noise along with Oklahoma in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. You have Alabama squeaking one out in Starkville against Mississippi State. 31-24, I believe, was the score of that one. Them coming out with that victory there was huge. They avoid the upset. They were down most of the game, it seemed like. So with that, with that playing out like it did, Alabama still stays undefeated. There's a couple teams that are going to be really putting themselves, like I said, in a really good spot here coming up. And USC, I think, is another team. USC goes on the road to Boulder and played, a pretty dominating game. But then, unfortunately, they could not, they just couldn't get anything, continuously, defensively to stop the Buffalo's offense a couple times. And the game never really felt like it was. It didn't seem like USC should be too worried after the long touchdown and the blocked punt by the Buffaloes. The game still never felt like it was anything that they should be worried about. So with that being the case, I think that USC as a team offensively as well could really could do some damage on some of these defenses. And I think that a lot of people did pick to win the national championship. I believe I had them in the Final Four to start. I can't remember off the top of my head if I had them winning or not. But the Trojans are, like I said, they're a solid team as well. Wisconsin as another team. Wisconsin, they go and they take care of business. Yesterday, destroying Iowa, a team that just beat Ohio State the week before. Wisconsin already has staked claim, to their spot in the Big Ten championship. So, the Badgers and the Badgers are always a team that they're always tough to play, and you never know what you're going to get with them. In some of these big games, it's like they falter, but then some of these big games, they come out and they look fantastic. So with the Badgers, it's, not a Jekyll and Hyde, but it's almost like that. So like I said, overall, yesterday was a huge day in college football. Like I said, a lot of big results in some of these top 10 matchups, like I just touched on. And then, so then it just makes, next week, obviously, very important as well. And then leading into Thanksgiving weekend is another huge weekend as well for a lot of these teams. So, it's been, like I said, it's been a fun season so far. We've seen a lot of ups and a lot of downs. Me being a guy, I follow Oklahoma State. They were in a battle last night against Iowa State. Ames, Iowa is tough to play. It's a tough place to play. And, they made it tough for them. Oklahoma State and Mason Rudolph, they were able to escape Ames with a 49-42 victory. One that I didn't think was going to happen there after a while. It seemed unlikely is probably the best way to put it after a couple of those drives. It seemed like as soon as Oklahoma State would score a touchdown, either a touchdown or a field goal, Iowa State would go right on down and score a touchdown. That's just kind of how it was feeling. But Oklahoma State was able to squeak it out defensively. They can't stop anyone, and that's going to be obviously their Achilles heel. A lot of people do shred the Big 12. For their defense, and basically saying that the Big 12 doesn't play defense, and that kind of seems to be the case here again. As you see some of these scores, it's tough, so it's kind of tough to justify having another team, in the playoff when, you can't play any defense. I mean, you might be able to score the points, but, if you're winning games, 59-58, granted a win's a win, but appealing, it doesn't help your cause is kind of the best way to put that. So, like I said, the next couple weeks are going to be a lot of fun to watch play out. Again, with the playoff implications like they have been the last couple weeks, and even into today or yesterday and next week, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. As always, again, schedule-wise, my work it's been pretty tough trying to get everything situated here. So I'm hoping to get more content out as much as I can. Like I said, if you guys have any interest in writing, it'd be greatly appreciated, because I kind of need a little bit of help some of these times. So, but as always, check me out at I am Chris Asbrock on Twitter. Check out the website, feeltheimpactsports.com, and always check out my YouTube page where most of these videos will go. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.